we're members of the same species. We are not separate species in that regard. Although with Obama's pushing on racial division here, you would think he thinks that we're all different species. There's a Hispanic species, a African species, a white species, an Asian species, and he likes to divide and conquer. But really, we're all members of Homo sapiens. I don't think he learned that in Columbia under Alinsky, Professor Alinsky.
Yeah, I think he missed that class.
Yeah, he must have missed that class while he was out on a dope break.
Yeah. Hey,
so look. The bottom line is that this Rachel Dolezal has exposed a real problem in this society. She faked being black her whole life. She changed her appearance to look black. I don't know how she became the head of the chapter, other than pushing the communist rhetoric harder and faster than anyone else in that office. I mean, when I read her resignation letter, I said classic communism, empowering marginalized voices, police brutality, biased curriculum in schools, health inequities, lack of pro-justice political representation. This is right out of the communist playbook. And that's how she got to be the head of the NAACP in Spokane. It's more about that than it is about the NAACP in general. It's more about what the NAACP is pushing rather than Rachel Dolezal. What is their message? What is their modus operandi? Where do they want this society to go? Are they using race as a weapon to push the communist rhetoric, the communist platform? That's the real question, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So,
all right, I'm sending you a Father's Day gift, Countdown to Mecca. We're only, today is the 15th of June, the 23rd is Father's Day. Oh, it's very close. It's a week from what, Sunday? I don't even know when it is. I think it's a week from Sunday. I suppose I'll get together with the family on that day. I've reached the point where I actually like Father's Day. I like the boring meal in a boring restaurant with the family. Stay on the line, we'll send you Countdown to Mecca because it's the last thing but boring. I guarantee you won't be able to put it down. Okay, back to the GMOs. We're going to do the two topics, GMOs and fake civil rights activists, I guess we could say that. You know, I wish I could, maybe I could be made into, could someone GMO me, genetically modify me? I'd like to be 7 inches taller. I'd like to be 30 pounds lighter. I would like to be more muscular. I would like to have a longevity gene inserted into me, which will guarantee me a healthy life until I'm 110, at which point I can then opt for more life or end it right then and there. Wouldn't I like to be GMO'd? Wouldn't you like to be GMO'd? If you had the option of having your DNA modified right now, would you do it? So you could live longer and healthier? Yes or no? I'll be right back.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
My Savage Nation is sponsored by SwissAmerica.com, the only company I trust to protect my wealth with gold and silver. Call 800-BUYCOIN. If this doesn't touch you, you're untouchable. Doesn't matter what. See, this is the, okay, shut up. This is the thing about a universal song. It doesn't matter what race you are or what religion you are or what language you speak. If a song touches you and it's a foreign language, that song has soul. You get it? We've had many songs in foreign languages that have made it to the top of the charts in America, right? Not recently, by the way. Not recently, but it was in my day. Even some Spanish songs came along that went right to the top because they touched you. And I'm trying to touch you with the truth. Now, maybe the truth is a little hard to bear. I get it. One of the reasons I'm not as prominent in the media as I should be, having been in the media for so many years, is that, you know, the truth is often not saleable. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. You do. You know what I'm saying. You know, you can phony it up, and you can move yourself pretty far along if you espouse the Republican Party line, and you lead people to believe that they're good and the Democrats are bad. You know, you can move pretty far if you're a paid mouthpiece for the RNC. Some of the radio business have made quite a fortune at that, right from the beginning of their careers. All they do is tell you every day, Republicans good, Democrats bad. Republicans good, Democrats bad. Republicans great, Democrats bad. And, you know, I don't go along with that. I've been an independent for a long time, and I guess many of you are disappointed in my stance on GMOs right now, but I can't help it. This is my opinion. And if I can get you to at least read some of the real scientific literature on it, you might not be as panicked by those who are selling you fear. They're selling you fear, and then they're selling you products to go along with the fear. I don't think you understand that as well. A lot of you getting information from people that, oh, GMOs are evil, buy my products, they're non-GMO. This is bad, now buy my product that's good. The same as Republican, Democrat. Up to 80% of processed foods in the U.S. happen to be genetically modified. Okay, so there you go. Like it or not, genetically modified foods are ubiquitous right now, and you're probably ingesting them whether you know it or not. So like this, oh, God, you ate a GMO. I love all the hipsters out there, you know. They're vegetarian or this, that, vegan, this, and they don't smoke, they don't drink, they don't this, they don't that. They sleep with 16 people a week, but they're pure as the driven snow, and then they wonder why they're sick. How come sexuality doesn't go along with the purity of these health food movements? Why is that omitted? I don't understand it. Why is it that so many people who are vegan and this and clean as a driven, but they'll sleep with 16 people a week? Why is that? They didn't understand that sexual mixing like that is very dangerous for the body, that it can't take the overwhelming input of other people's bodily fluids. They haven't gotten that yet. They didn't arrive at that conclusion. No, I'm mixing morality with GMOs. It's a very important story because one of the reasons we have such a hysterical situation in America today about foods and air and water is because of the moral meltdown. People are moral degenerates or moral whores, if you want to put it that way, both male and female. And they think that they can make up for it by being a vegan, for example. It doesn't mean you can't do both. But most people, I'm telling you how this goes. They got the yoga mat, they're vegan, and 16 people a week, that's all. Not all. I'm giving you an example, and you know I'm right. You know I'm right intuitively. And you know that a lot of people who are into the health movement are trying to clean up their act because they had a lifetime of dissipation. If I could only have $100 for every person I met who led horrendously dirty lives, who are now as clean as the driven snow because they don't eat GMOs, they're vegan. Oh, yeah, I'm a vegan. I go to yoga. They're going to yoga to look at someone in tight pants, most of them. The guys that I don't talk to anymore from the Garment Center. GMOs, fake black quits NAACP. More to come right here on the Savage Nation. Be sure to catch Countdown to Mecca for Father's Day. It's the best gift in the world.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage. Warning. The Savage Nation contains adult language, adult content, psychological nudity. Listener discretion is advised. And now, America's most exciting radio talk show, The Savage Nation, home of unprotected talk, borders, language, culture. And here he is, Michael Savage.
Blue Monday, how I hate Blue Monday. Got to work, like a slave on me.
It is the Savage Nation. We've been talking about genetically modified foods and modified people, such as Rachel Dolezal, who portrayed herself falsely as a black for many years now. And the embattled president of the Spokane chapter of the NAACP, where else but Spokane, said today she's stepping down from her post. Rachel Dolezal has parents who said she was born as a Caucasian child, but she identified as a black, and somehow I don't know how she got the job. She changed her appearance. She's an assistant professor of Africana Studies, don't you know? And she said it is with complete allegiance to the cause of racial and social justice and the NAACP that I step aside from the presidency and pass the baton to my vice president, Naima Quarles Burnley. And then she went on, and she's a part-time professor in the Africana Studies program at Eastern Washington University, real high on the totem pole there. But she came under fire after her parents revealed last week that she was pretending to be a black woman. On Monday, her parents accused their daughter of telling lies and attempting to, quote, destroy her biological family. Her mom, Ruth Ann Dolezal, told ABC's Good Morning America she was obviously misrepresenting herself. We did not pursue exposing her. It was only after the press came to us that we were willing to answer their questions. So, I mean, this raises the bigger question. A few weeks ago, we had a man pretending to be a woman, and the media said, well, if he feels like a woman, he's a woman trapped in a man's body. There's no such thing as a man and a woman. He's a trans cisgender. cis transgender, cis whatever he is. He's whatever he wants to be. There is no truth anymore. Obama pretends to be president. He is president. That's all. Al Sharpton pretends to be a civil rights activist. Well, he is a civil rights activist. Are you crazy? This doesn't bother you? Now, it raises the larger question of, isn't it time for the NAACP to reevaluate its mission, to move on? We, after all, have a black president, a black attorney general, hundreds, if not thousands, of black folks in the government running the operation. The National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, in an age when we have a black president and a black attorney general and so many folks of African heritage in government, I think that the NAACP has completed its job. They've done their job. And I think that this is the time for them to consider moving on to something else. And moreover, if you look at her resignation letter, you see it's communism through and through. The rhetoric is racial and social justice, police brutality, biased curriculum in school, health inequities, the usual rubbish you've heard from the left. And she says, while challenging the construct of race, what? She's challenging the construct of race. So she's denying a thing as race altogether. Well, then it goes to my argument that the NAACP should dissolve itself. In other words, if there is no race, according to Rachel Donzel, then why do we need a National Association for the Advancement of a Specific Race? We should dissolve La Raza. La Raza, the brown supremacist movement that's dictating an immigration policy in America. If there's no race, then dissolve these groups. WJR in Detroit. Bev, you're on the Savage Nation.
Hi, Dr. Savage. To call in. I think that you might be a little quick in judging that lady because you just made the comment, if a woman feels like trapped in a man's body, why can't you accept the fact that this lady has dedicated her life to black this, black that in fact she is not convinced that she is a black woman trapped in a white body? I mean, it sounds...
I understand you're pulling my leg, but she was born as a Caucasian woman. That's the point. And she faked being black. She said she was born as a black lady.
But, okay, her parents narked on her because of the fact they were embarrassed. Isn't the same difference if you find out your kid is...
Whoa, what do you mean the parents knocked on her? What kind of statement is that? What kind of illiterate statement is that? Her parents knocked on her. The parents were fed up with her lies. If she identified as a black person and wanted to volunteer or work for the NAACP, fine. But she didn't do that. She said she was born of African heritage. Doesn't that offend you?
Actually not. I have a friend that's into genealogy, and according to her, every one of us has a black woman trapped.
Here we go again, right? We're all related to Lucy. I get it. That's irrelevant. Okay, but if your argument is true, then why do we need the NAACP? If we're all one race, then why do we need one advancing one race only? Why don't they dissolve the NAACP? National Association of Advancement of Colored People? I think that's offensive if we're all one race.
So do I. You know what I think would be...
Oh, so you agree that the NAACP should dissolve itself?
No, listen. I think
well, that's what you just said. You just agreed with me. You just knocked yourself.
I'd rather she stay in the position...
No, wait a minute. You just knocked yourself. You agreed with me that if there is no race, there's no need for an organization that is single-mindedly pushing only one race. Isn't that what you just said?
I totally agree with you on that.
All right, so you knocked yourself then. You just knocked yourself. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it. 855-407-282 is the phone number. Now let's go back to something more important that maybe we can apply some common sense to, which is GMOs. Okay? GMOs. All the white people in the suburbs drive around with Stop Monsanto bumper stickers. Ignoramuses, fools. They know nothing. College-educated dolts. Dolts. Total dolts. Monsanto is their enemy, not ISIS. Not ISIS, it's Monsanto now, the worst enemy on the planet. KBOI. Where is KBOI? It's one of the big signals. I'm blanking today. Rick, Boise, of course. Rick from Boise, what's on your mind?
Good afternoon, Uncle Mike, my life coach.
I could use a life coach right now. What's on your mind?
Well, I, too, am an educated man, Uncle Mike, graduate of Hard Knock U, and as a trucker of 37 years seniority, you could call me a Rhodes Scholar. But
so I get that. You are a Rhodes Scholar in my book. What's on your mind, Rhodes Scholar?
Okay, I'm a tanker yanker, and I'm currently in Monsanto's fleet. And, you know, Uncle Mike, when we're talking Monsanto and we're talking glyphosate, we're talking Roundup, okay?